Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, Tolani. Yes, you, Tolani. Hi, you watching me. Yes. So, we have been talking about the Mres. Let me do my dress very well, my blouse. We have been talking about the Mres program, yeah? And for this one, I actually thought, some people may not even, have a good understanding of what are the benefits of the Mres program. I know there's an obvious benefit that a lot of people are focused on. Sorry, a lot of people are focused on, which is around the dependents, bringing dependents and all that. So, but I want to really highlight outside that fact or outside that element or that component, whatever you call it, what other benefits are there for you to consider studying the Mres program? Say, for example, you watching me again, you don't have a dependent and you're thinking, do I still need this Mres or should I go for a thought masters? And you can decide on both. So I want to give you some information around the Mres and the benefits outside bringing dependents so that you can decide for yourself if you have the option of deciding, or if deciding if you want to go for the thought masters or the Mres. So the Mres, we call it Mres because it is masters in research. So majorly from that name, you're going to be focused on doing research and using your research to address certain problem in your field. Now, the benefits, again, we all know the one that is very common, which is that you can bring your dependents. For those that have dependents, the UK government allow research degrees to bring in their dependents, but not thought masters. So this is one of the reasons why it's popular. And so it's an advantage for now. Outside that, I have at least 5 to 6 points that I want to share with you on the reason why you should consider, or what are the advantages of studying on the Mres program or any Mres program. I feel like the last 2 points will be valuable for you to know and keep in mind, especially those that are thinking of career using the certificates that they will get from the program. So the first one I have generally is the fact that you would have a good research collaboration network, and it really helps you if you're progressing in that field because you would have worked with your supervisor. Some of you may even go ahead work with other team aside from your supervisor or your supervisory team. You may also be able to work with other students. Sometimes we have research group where a colleague, a supervisor, will put 2, 3, 4, even more students on a project, and they work on different aspects of that project. And so you have that collaboration with those students as you go on. The other part, or one of the next components, I think, in terms of advantage or benefits of Mres program is the fact that you are able to know and learn about research skills. You're able to know and learn about research skills. You're able to conduct research. You're able to draft proposals. You're able to do qualitative analysis. You're able to do quantitative analysis. You're able to do systematic review, extract data from the literature and use that to answer certain research questions. These are key skills that are very, very beneficial for employment in the future, because when you have these skills, you are able to use those skills in different areas. So you're not limited to an extent to a particular area in that field of study. So that's the second or the next point. The other point that I would like to highlight is the fact that while you're doing your Mres, you can publish articles or you can go for conferences. And these are key advantages that add to your resume as you finish or do your program and finish it. So you're able to go for conferences. Some university, for example, the university I teach on within the Mres program, we organize conference within the faculty, and that can go on your CV. So all students are required to attend and also present within that conference, either poster or oral, just to help them gain those skills and be able to put it on their CV. The other key benefit, and I think this one is very crucial, if you're thinking of going for a PhD, at the end of your Mres program, this is one of the very, very, very advantageous part of doing an Mres program, because when you finish your Mres, you're able to get those skills. Like I said, you know, PhD is all about research, right? So you're able to get those skills already imbibed into you and taught into you, or you already have those skills in you. And so it makes it easier for you to write a reasonable proposal. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people get rejected for their PhD. When you write a proposal that does not make sense, not that it doesn't make sense, apology, it does make sense, but it's obvious from reading the proposal that you don't know the technicalities of what you're saying you want to do. It's obvious that, for example, a student may send in a proposal and it's so obvious that you cannot finish this in 5 years and you're proposing to do it in 3 years. So that tells us that you actually don't know what it takes or the nuances of doing research. All of this, you would have conquered them in an Mres program if you do an Mres program prior. So that means if your plan or your aim is to go for a PhD afterwards or later on down the line, an Mres will really set you in a good path for a PhD admission to be way easier for you. Now, the interesting one, or the one that I feel like is going to really capture attention, is the fact that if you do an Mres program, you will have a floodgate. Is that right? You will have an open space. You have more options of selecting, of working in different fields. So, for example, you'll be able to work within research, and that can be research within academic space. So, you know, being research assistants, research fellows, research associates, different names, all of these are research-based and they have huge financial implication or financial benefits. Let me put it that way, not implication, huge financial benefits. So that's one. You're also able to work within, outside academia. So for example, teaching assistants, there are some different roles. Some they call them student support services. Some they call them graduate assistant, whatever name they call it in whichever institution. You can apply for some of those roles where you're helping the main lecturer to teach students, maybe demonstrate a research skill for them, help them. So, but you're supporting the actual lecturer, depending on the university. Some universities have certain rules such as this. So you have that as well. And that can progress you into actually becoming an academic in terms of, you know, lecturing and moving on that route. And then you can come join me. I just put it there. The other part or another key career benefit of doing an Mres is the fact that you can actually apply to other jobs outside academic space. So you're thinking, I've mentioned academia is Fola asking me to come join her. Yes, I am asking you if you want to come. But outside that, you can actually apply to jobs such as the NHS or places such as the NHS. They're almost always looking for research skills in those spaces. There are so many projects that goes on in the NHS in clinical setting. Apologies, I'm saying clinical because my work is around health and some of our students are clinicians. But for other fields too, it's possible this may be similar or, you know, closely aligned. But for the NHS, as I was saying, you have so many funded research projects that goes on. And so a lot of times they are looking for research fellows, they are looking for research assistants in clinics to help them coordinate the research process, you know, for example, recruit participants maybe, or administer interviews, surveys, analyze data, and all of these other things. So that can be a good one for you. Another benefit or another way you can use the Mres program in terms of career is when you're applying to funds. So with your Mres degree, it will be way easier for you to get funded if you have an amazing, you know, for example, you finish your Mres and your research is really fantastic and you want to take it forward, you can actually have good possibility or good chance of getting funded. You know, remember the collaboration I talked about earlier? You have a network of people, your colleagues, supervisor, or that you can actually put them on your application, on your proposal, write them as your collaborator. That gives you a good chance of getting funded. Another one is that you can get, again, funding, but PhD scholarship especially. There's something called PhD stipend. So where projects are based off of PhD, and they are funded. And if you apply to those projects, you get full scholarship, your tuition fee is paid, and your stipend is going to be paid every month. Most time you are able to get those easier if you have an Mres rather than a third master's degree. So it makes it a lot of students or applicants are interested, and they always say, oh, Dr. Fola, I want to do a PhD, I need funding. And it's difficult because the research skills that are needed, you probably are not demonstrating it enough in your proposal or in your application. But with an Mres, it gives you a good standing to be able to do that and be able to get funding in terms of a PhD. So I don't know, I just wanted to highlight a few of these points and say that it's obviously good to be able to bring in dependents in through the Mres, but also that you can get other benefits and consider those, especially if bringing dependents is probably not top priority for yourself, because I know some people that they are interested in studying in the UK, but having dependents is not necessarily the, end or be all for them, maybe because they don't have it or it's just not that much of a priority. There are other benefits around Mres that you can consider. I have to say though that there's a caveat. I have to say that because you're coming to do Mres, the Mres does not really focus on third part of the program of the field. The Mres does not really focus on the third part of the degree, right? And so that means a lot of background knowledge will be good for yourself. So I would always encourage, if you're doing Mres, it's probably better you do it in the field that you're in. So that means if you've studied engineering of some sort, maybe do an Mres in that engineering space. Let your Mres be closely aligned to the background knowledge or qualification that you have. Reason being, you're not going to be taught some critical aspects of it. And if you're moving from one field to another, you may struggle, and you may also struggle to not just in the degree itself, but you may struggle to demonstrate relevance in application when you go out into trying to get jobs. But like we've said, these are some of the benefits. They are not limited to this. I'm sure there are others, but these are the ones I can come up with just on the whim. I would also say the benefits, like I said, of getting a job maybe like within NHS or even for other organizations, charity organizations that are doing research, funded PhD, all of that, they give you good or better chance of getting sponsorship. So either as a student or as a worker, COS type of sponsorship, because most of these jobs are at a pay grade that you probably will be able to be sponsored. So just something to keep in mind when you're making your decision about the programs you want to study. So thank you, and I'll see you in another video. So you that you're watching me, I hope you've gotten one or two things from this, and I hope you can put this in at the back of your mind when you're making your decision about the Mres or whatever program you want to study. Thank you, and I'll see you in another video. Bye-bye.